Right, welcome back. Where were we in the last video? So last one, I was just putting the subframe together, the rear one, and I was looking at Keith's video over Christmas and realised I hadn't got the brake pipes on the subframe. So I've done that now. I'll show you that in a sec. I had a look at the brake setup on the rear drums, again looking at Keith's, and I think I had the shoes round the wrong way. I have changed them, but I will double check again when I fit them. So I have now fitted the front subframe, which I'm not going to lie was an absolute nightmare. Few reasons. One, it's quite high, so I was struggling to get the height on the jack, and I didn't have anyone else here. So yeah, it's in. I'm just going to show you around it and the bits I've done on the subframe, and then I will then get on to getting the rear one in. And so what I'm going to do is then get the Magic off the ramp and out when it's dry, get that wheeled over, because again, thinking about it, I've now put extra weight on the shell, and once the rear subframe goes on, it's going to be even more weight. So what I'm going to do is get the Magic off the ramp, get that turned around and backed onto the ramp, and then I could just lift the ramp up and down and just effectively slide the shell on the ramp. So that's the plan. Whether that works or not is another thing. So yeah, I'll just show you what I've been doing. So I've got the foil tape on the back of the subframe. I've got these two bits of neoprene foam on both sides, and yeah, I've got the the foil tape on the back. So yeah, brake lines are in. Now I did buy a set of brake pipe kit. I'm not sure whether I showed you this. I bought this from Mini Spares. It's a set for the Hydrolastics, so all the lengths of pipe are with it that I need, and they've all got the ends pre-made onto them, so I just have to bend them into place. Now for some reason, now part of me is being lazy because I didn't want to redo the ends, but the pipes, when you look on Mini Spares, it says what the length they are. They were that length, but they seem a little bit long. Now I don't know whether that is because the pipes that I had on there were remade again at some point and then just made shorter. I don't know. Maybe someone can answer that. But I've fannied around with them, and I did have to cut this one down in the end. It was way too long. I would have had to do almost like a loop. Seeing it's a short bit of run with an 8-inch pipe, it was never going to work. But this one I've managed to sort of sort out. Yeah, so that's that. I don't know what was the problem really with this. The bolts on the floor and toe board lined up okay. I mean, I did pre-fit the subframe before I sprayed it all, so I don't know whether it's a bit of paint and stuff that's sort of made it a little bit more difficult to fit, but it was the tower bolts here and here. This side was easier than that side. Now what I will say is when I took the bolts off, they were bent slightly, so maybe that was also the problem. And yeah, so it was a bit of a pain, but it's on. Everything's tightened up all right. Next thing will be the rear subframe. So what I'll probably do, because it is a lot of fanning around, I probably won't record fitting that. or getting it on the ramp, and then I'll just do some recording, let the recording run when I start doing other bits. So I'm expecting that to be okay. I did check the measurements of the distance between the two hillboard measurements, and they were all alright, and I have trial fitted that, but we'll see. Things on minis are never easy. So I have got the metric off, the keep rest on the ramp. Bit of a pain in the backside. I did do it on my own, so I don't know quite how I know how I did it, but how I did it I don't know. Yeah, so that's on the rubber blocks now. I've got the rear subframe already round there on the jack, ready to go. Before I put the Maverick over there, I had to get all the engine and all my bits out, so I didn't have to move that around again. So that's the engine sitting there. May put that in next, I'm not sure yet. So yeah, so I'm gonna just set the camera up at the back and just run it through while I'm trying to fit that. Might be some comedy value in that, depends how well it goes in. So yeah, I'm just going to reset the camera up at the back and then we get recording. Right, so first things first, I'm just going to spray the tops of this subframe with the Dynax UC. What I don't want to do is scratch the rear of this like Keith did. What do we reckon? I reckon maybe do the nut up to squash the washers on the trunnion, or the rubbers on the trunnion a bit more. It's definitely the right size. I think it's definitely to do with the rubbers. So I'm just gonna tighten them up a bit. I can still get a thing in there. So just, I'll come back to you in a bit. What a nightmare. So the problem was the front trunnions. I never know how tight to do with them. So the rubbers, so I didn't do them tight enough. So the rubbers weren't compressed enough, so it wasn't giving me what I needed to get the bolts in on the heel board. So I had to take the radius arms off, so I could get to the nut behind the radius arm to then do up the trunnions to give me what I needed. But that was a pain in the backside. So that's done. I've got it up in position. I'm just going to get the nuts and bolts in the boot lined up and bolted up. Something else I noticed I'd sort of done wrong. The hydrolastic tubes from the hydrolastic suspension, I'd already put them on the valves and bolted them into the subframe. Well, as I'm jacking it up, I've had to take them off because where the pipe comes out, it was hitting on the rear valance, so I've had to undo them. But then I also realised the pipes that come from the front up over the subframe, I can't actually connect them to the valves until I take these, I don't know what they're called, the valve things off, and connect them through that way. So yeah, this is the trouble with doing stuff and 3 years later putting it back together. Although I did watch the video, I didn't watch it, I don't think that was on it. So that's the trouble I've had with that, but it's all up and in position now, so I'm just going to get it all back together, screwed up, bolted up. Yeah, what a nightmare. And then, so the same with the trunnions brackets on the back. Again, I didn't know how tight to do them, so I've had to tighten them right up to squash up the rubbers, and then they located in the holes nigh on perfectly. So things on a Mini, for me, never seem to be straightforward, ever. Ta-da! What a nightmare. So. So, yeah, so I need to locate them in position. You see them? That's what I'm talking about. So I need to guide them through while I'm fitting them to the actual hydrolastic pipes. So yeah, so basically I had to take these off, tighten the nuts up behind here, which then obviously squashes the rubbers up, and then I had enough to get these in without damaging anything. So yeah, progress. It was the same both sides. So so next I will get the rear hubs on, back plates, and the helper springs, and then I'll get the Hydrolastic all connected at the back, rear handbrake cable, handbrake cable on, and then I can get the shockers, the dampers on the front as well, get the battery cable connected to the subframe, and also get the track rod ends on and connected to the steering arms. And then I think that's pretty much it with suspension and so on. So yeah, bit of progress. I'll see you in a bit with the rest of the stuff on the rear.